Welcome. Thank you for joining us at this morning's Boxcar lifting ceremony, an important milestone in our Building Truth expansion project. My name is Guy Lipa, and I'm the board chair of Holocaust Museum LA. It brings me tremendous joy to see our community come together today for such a meaningful moment. Your presence here is a testament to the importance of our mission to inspire humanity through truth, to educate students on mutual respect and kindness, and to inspire a generation of upstanders and not bystanders. Thank you to our docents and volunteers who generously dedicated their time, to our donors and members whose steadfast support allow us to fulfill our mission, and to our community partners who work with us to amplify our voices. Many thanks to our tireless museum staff and my fellow board of directors for your commitment. With the board members here today, please stand. We are especially grateful to board members Andrea Caton and Melinda Goldrich and their family for making a transformative gift to our Building Truth campaign in honor of their father and one of Holocaust Museum LA's founders, Jonah Goldrich. I want to give a special shout out to architect Hagi Belsberg and his team at BA Collective. Hagi walking down the aisle right now. And a big thank you to our construction team at Del Amo Construction and the Freeman Group. They're here somewhere. And to our extremely supportive neighbors who are enduring our construction at Caruso and at Television City. I also want to acknowledge the elected officials in attendance, our councilwoman, Katie Arslowski, Senator Ben Allen, and Assembly Member Jesse Gabriel, both sitting here. I'm going to go a little bit off script, but both Assembly Member Gabriel and Senator Allen are very close friends. We took a trip to Israel together many years ago, which was an amazing experience. And I just want to emphasize that Jesse and Ben tirelessly advocated for this museum in Sacramento and played a key role in securing $8.5 million from the state for the construction of the expansion. We would not be standing here today if it wasn't for them and their advocacy. So thank you very much. The Consul General of Poland, Paulina Kapuczynska, LAUFC board member Nick Melvoin, may not be here yet. Santa Monica Malibu Unified board member John Keene. The other half of our CEO, Beth Keene. Vice Mayor of Beverly Hills, Sharona Nazarian. Teresa Lamb, who's the Teresa Lamb Simpson, who's the district director for Representative and now U.S. Senator-elect Adam Schiff. Congratulations. Area Representative Kenneth Miller from Mayor Karen Bass's office. And Amanda Leffler from Supervisor Lindsay Horvath's office. Finally, a very special thank you to all of the Holocaust survivors, 2Gs and 3Gs in our community, who share their family stories of courage, resilience, and hope. With the survivors here today, please wave or stand if you're able. Joe, Ellie, Eva, Gita, Helen, Harry, Jacob, Leah, Lou, Raya, Monica, Stella, Steve, Suzanne, and Thomas. All of this is for you. It was almost exactly 1 year ago that we gathered in this same spot for the groundbreaking of the new Jonah Goldrich campus. And we have made tremendous progress since then. Though much of the construction over the last 12 months has been below grade to shore the complex foundations of our new Learning Center pavilion along the Grove Drive, soon you will start seeing the new campus rise. And when it opens in early 2026, we will be able to triple our capacity to to accommodate 150,000 students annually. Our new campus will prominently feature the boxcar that's being installed today that was unearthed near the Majdanek death camp near Lublin, Poland. The authentic boxcar, one of the few remaining worldwide, is believed to have transported thousands of Holocaust victims to their deaths. Over 2 decades ago, Stanley Black learned of the boxcar left in a forest in Poland. He wanted the boxcar to serve as a memorial here in Los Angeles and transported it halfway across the world, where it has been waiting for the right permanent home since. We are very proud and honored that the Black family has entrusted Holocaust Museum LA with such a significant artifact and donated this boxcar as an extremely generous early gift to fund the construction of the gallery that will surround it. All in the memory of Stanley and his dear friend Jonah Goldrich, who always said he was fighting against forgetting. We are so grateful to the Stanley and Joyce Black Family Foundation for their extremely generous and meaningful donation of this precious artifact, and to Cheryl and David Wiener and Priscilla and Fred Ostrovsky of blessed memory for sponsoring the exhibits that will surround it. Survivor David Wiener has told us the harrowing story of his experience as a teenager being crammed into a boxcar. He said, "I was at the end of the road, without hope. I could not even dream. To have a dream was a luxury, and things were happening too fast to hold on to a dream. I felt that this would be the last ride of my life, and I did not care anymore." Thankfully, it was not David's last ride. Hearing his words and seeing the boxcar allow us to bear witness to and steward his memory and message. 98-year-old David reminds us not to forget him. I stand here today, a grandchild of Holocaust survivors and a father of 2 young boys, and I think about the fact that by the time I will be old enough to have a meaningful conversation about the Holocaust with my boys, there might not be any firsthand witnesses left to tell their stories. That is why now, more than ever, it is critical for all of us to be guardians of this history, to safeguard the factual, historical truth from being forgotten, or potentially even more devastating, from being distorted by nefarious actors pushing agendas of hate, fear, and division. Prominently displaying this boxcar that will go behind me is important. Its presence is undeniable, and the exhibits surrounding it will be used every day to teach students and visitors about the critical lessons and continued relevance of the Holocaust, to ensure the truth prevails, and to secure a more dignified and humane world for future generations. It is now my pleasure to introduce Los Angeles City Councilwoman Katie Yaroslavsky, who has been a tremendous advocate for our museum and this expansion. We could not have gotten to this point without the partnership of you and your dedicated staff, and we are so grateful. Los Angeles Council, 5th District Councilwoman Katie Yaroslavsky.
Thank you, Guy. It's an honor to be here to mark such a deeply significant moment with all of you, not only for the Holocaust Museum LA, but for our city and our world. We gather to mark a really important milestone in the Building Truth project, where history and memory are physically and psychically brought into this space for generations to experience. This boxcar isn't just an artifact. It's a vessel of truth, a testament to what happened when hatred and lies went unchallenged. And it stands here now to speak to each visitor who walks through this museum. Truth is precious. It can be uncomfortable, painful even, but it is our greatest defense against the forces that seek to divide us, to rewrite or erase history, and to manipulate what we know to be real. In recent years, we've all witnessed how misinformation and deceit can infiltrate our lives, undermine our communities, and attempt to weaken the shared foundation on which we all stand. This museum and the extraordinary work of the Building Truth project reminds us why we must resist those forces. It stands as a fortress against distortion and denial, and as a guardian of the lived experiences of those who endured unimaginable suffering. And as we lift this boxcar to its place, we are grounding a reminder, one that will reach not just today's generation, our children, but their children, and their children's children that truth matters, facts matter. This boxcar and the voices of those who both perished and survived echo through it. It will carry the weight of truth, even as some will continue to attempt to discredit or silence those voices. I am profoundly grateful to the Stanley and Joyce Black Family Foundation for making this day possible. I want to acknowledge my predecessor, Paul Koretz, for all of his work on this project, and to Holocaust Museum LA for creating this space where truth is honored, held, and shared. Together, we are building something enduring and powerful, something that no amount of lies or misinformation can shake. So we're reminded today, as we witness this installation, of our responsibility to uphold truth. May we carry it forward, as these survivors have done, even in the face of those who seek to destroy it. Carrying that truth forward is a solemn responsibility, one we're going to continue to take on together. So thank you to the Holocaust Museum LA for leading the charge, and thanks to all of you for supporting their really important work. Thank you.
And now, please welcome Jill Black-Zalben, Director of the Stanley and Joyce Black Family Foundation.
Hi, good morning. I want to introduce my children as I'm a second generation and these are the third. So this is what it's about. Zach and Tori, I'm Jill. My gosh, I'm very sad. Stanley's my dad. He's doing great. He's 92, was not able to be here today, nor was other members of my family. But this was my dad's dream. He and Jonah were best friends. I mean, they went to Nate Now's and went to campers every day. They had a life a long time, and he misses his friend. I know that. And he had this dream. I worked with him at the time, and he said, "Where's the boxcar? Where's the boxcar?" And Severin Ashkenazi, who goes from Poland and back here to LA, helped him acquire it. It took a long time to get here. And what was a sad thing in the beginning, this is his dream where he wanted to be. And Shoah Foundation wouldn't take it. Hillel at UCLA. It went out to the Valley, but it wasn't a good fit for us as a family with what his dream was, to really show Jews and non-Jews, especially children, what happened. And he had seen in Tennessee, they have a boxcar. And he had seen, I think it was on 60, the paper clips, and he saw that and he goes, "We need to have a boxcar here in LA." My dad is not a survivor, was born in 1932, and he always felt that if he was born in Europe, where his grandparents were, it would have been him there. And he has he's been involved with the Jewish community over 70, 80 years since he was a kid, my grandparents. And this was his dream, to be here. And when everybody came from the museum and asked us, this was his dream, to be here. And we will take pictures and show him today, but we thank you for taking care of it for us. And I think Zach wanted to say something.
I was working with my grandfather when he was trying to find a boxcar, and it was his mission. At the time, he didn't even care about what we were really working on with our business. He was so focused on getting a boxcar, and he did not stop till he got it. Unfortunately, he did. And, sadly, this is not the first girl we asked of where to put it. I think you're the third, but we appreciate the third because of how disappointing the first and second were. So, it's the perfect place for it. And then also, how lucky are we? Thank you. And then we're so lucky that it gets to be in a Hagi Bellsberg designed building. He's one of the greatest architects in the city. And Hagi gets to now have two different projects on Beverly Boulevard. One's a retirement home, and the other is a Holocaust Museum. So congrats, Hagi. And thank you.
I just wanted to say, in honor of my grandmother, Joyce Black, she would have been so amazed by today and the programming that's going to happen around this boxcar. And this is all for the future generations to learn and to send peace and offering and just prosperity for the next generations to really remember how important this boxcar is going to be for centuries. So thank you all for today. Thanks again. And I just wanted to say, look, what is going on in the world today? This is the reason he did this. And we will continue to support the Jewish community. And we love our community. Both my parents are natives there, so mine and my kids. So let's stick together, because we got a fight on our hands. And we're strong. But thank you again. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Michael Morgenstern, and I work at the museum with our survivor community and programs. And our next speaker was going to be Rachel Schwartz, a Holocaust survivor and member of our community. But unfortunately, she woke up with a cold today. She wanted to tell you about her experiences. Rachel was born in Warsaw, Poland in 1931, and was the youngest of Israel and Sarah Gasprine's 4 children. They spent 3 years in the Warsaw Ghetto until Passover of 1943, when during the ghetto uprising, her family was deported to Majdanek. She, her mother, and sister Henrietta went on one train, while her father and brothers Roman and Henry went on another, and this was the last time she saw her father and brothers. En route to Majdanek, they had no food and only a little bit of water that some righteous citizens threw into their boxcar while it stopped. Upon their arrival, SS guards separated the prisoners into 2 lines, one for those who would work and another one for those who would be immediately murdered. An SS guard told Rachel and her mother to go to the line destined for death, while he instructed her sister to go to the line for those who would work. But her sister motioned to the guard to allow Rachel to join her in the line. As Rachel said, he must have had a moment of humanity because he allowed it. And this, she says, is why she survived Majdanek as a 13-year-old. She says that having this boxcar at the museum will allow visitors to see what humans can do to one another. And this is why it is so important to educate about this history. Thank you.
Now, from the California Legislative Jewish Caucus, which has very generously supported our expansion project since the beginning with $8.5 million in funding support, we are joined today by Chair Assembly Member Jesse Gabriel and Senator Ben Allen.
Well, good morning, everybody. Boker Tov. It's such an honor to be here with you today. This is a wild time in politics, and there are a lot of headaches in our jobs. And yet there are moments like this where I think both of us feel a tremendous amount of pride. And sometimes a moment like this makes all the madness of running for office and putting yourself forward and getting attacked and getting in the mix feel so worth it, because we've been able to help this extraordinary institution that means so much to so many people, that means so much to our families. It's a special thing to be here with you today. So I just want to first thank the wonderful Black Zeldin family for all of your generosity, your commitment, the sense of righteous indignation associated with the issues that we're trying to educate young people about here. I want to thank Beth Keene and the wonderful board and the leadership here at the museum who worked so hard to open this place up, to make sure that this is not just a place for Jews and Jewish families, but they've been so active and so aggressive and so engaged in trying to spread the word to all sorts of people from all sorts of backgrounds, not just so many young people who come here every day from LAUSC, from all over the school districts, but also doing things like reaching out to kids that have exhibited anti-Semitic behavior, like those young people in Orange County who were doing Nazi signs and salutes and drawing swastikas. And instead of condemning those kids, they brought the kids here to the museum, had them spend a day here, had them meet with survivors, and then the letters that they wrote. I got a chance to read some of those letters, and they touched my heart because these are kids. They didn't know what they were doing. They were repeating crap that they'd seen online, that they heard from friends or from their families. And to have the opportunity to hear directly from a survivor, to see the artifacts, to see the powerful message of this museum, it changed them and it touched their hearts. If only we could bring so many more young Americans here to experience this place. That's what this is ultimately all about. That's why when the museum came to us at the Jewish Caucus, we said, we really want to be a part of this. We want to make sure that we help to bring this project across the finish line. So when I was chair of the Jewish Caucus in 2019, we were able to secure the initial $6 million for the expansion. Then under my great friend Jesse's leadership in 2021, there was a follow-up investment of an additional 2.5 million. And we've been working so hard together with our wonderful caucus to do so much to try to ensure that the state is focused on protecting our community. $160 million under the Assembly members' leadership over 2 years of continued investment for the nonprofit security grant program, which is providing funding for security measures at synagogues and day schools and Jewish community centers and centers that for people of all different backgrounds that could be subject to hate-related violence. Our caucus has been working on bills fighting discrimination on college campuses, cracking down on the distribution of hateful materials, promoting inclusivity. We passed SB 1277, written by our good friend Henry Stern, Senator Henry Stern, establishing the Teachers Collaborative for Holocaust and Genocide Education, which is a statewide program designed to empower and unify educators in teaching the lessons of history and about what happens when bias goes unchecked. Well, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you first to Jesse. I will say he's been such a great leader for our caucus and our community. You know, I mean, just recently, we had I'm reflecting on the fact that we were here last at the groundbreaking of the John Goldrich campus, which was just about a month after October 7th. Since then, we of course have had the Nova exhibition, that powerful exhibition over at Culver City, and Jesse played a big role in bringing together leaders from Sacramento. People came from all over the state, along with entertainment leaders and others, for a very powerful Shabbos dinner that we had about a month ago or so that I think just touched a lot of people's hearts. And I just want to thank you, Jesse, for your continued engagement and leadership for our community. And of course, and then just a big thank you to everyone who's been so involved with this museum. I'm the dad of two young children, like so many of you, and I reflect on this dangerous moment in our world, how uncertain everything seems, and I reflect on how important it is for us to continue this holy, sacred, vitally important work of educating the next generation so that they'll have a better understanding of all that's happened in the past and hopefully be able to avoid some of the mistakes of the past. So thank you for believing in this museum. Thank you for not giving up on this museum. Thank you for looking for ways to grow and increase the relevance of this museum. Your leadership, I know, is already making a difference in so many ways and can only continue to in the future. I'm so excited about all that this campus is going to provide for young people and for families. I'm so excited about the powerful message of this Boxcar right here in our backyards in Los Angeles. So thank you to everyone involved in this wonderful museum.
Good morning, everybody. Jesse Gabriel, really proud to represent the San Fernando Valley and really proud to be here with all of you today. Let me start off just by thanking the incredible philanthropists that have made today possible. And thank you for the foresight and wisdom of your father and grandfather to understand many years in advance that we would need this in this moment. It was an incredible act of generosity, of love, and really of incredible foresight to bring this here for this difficult moment in time. And of course, want to thank the extraordinary leadership of this incredible institution. As I was reflecting on the reasons why I got in the car and drove here this morning, and I think there are really two. One is my incredible admiration and love for Guy Lipa and the incredible work that Guy has done. So let's give him a huge round of applause. The amount of life force that he has poured into this campaign to raise money has just blown me away. And I know his dad, Jacob, is here somewhere. Jacob, we share in your nachas for all of Guy's incredible work. And also for Beth Dean, who's just been extraordinary. I had the opportunity to be here with Beth and with Guy and with Governor Newsom a few weeks ago. And I had them tell the governor about the work of the museum, about how many young people from all of these diverse communities, as Ben has talked about, are here and how they're learning. And I was just bursting with pride at the work that Beth and Guy have done. So thank you for everything you have done for our community. You guys are really extraordinary leaders. The other reason that I was trying to understand why is it that this has pulled so powerfully at my heartstrings? Why do I feel so connected to this work? And I I do want to acknowledge Ben because Ben is the driving force here, and I think we ought to give credit where credit is due. And so the investments that the state have made are due to Ben Allen. So we should give him a big round of applause. But I was reflecting, I think, and Councilwoman Yaroslavsky was part of the reason that I have felt so emotional about this work is because I believe in today's world, and especially in a post-October 7th world, that education and truth are two of our most powerful tools. And we understand that with all of the threats facing our community, and there are many, it is not just hate. It is disinformation, it is a lack of historical knowledge, it is ignorance, and of course, all of those things are things that feed into hate. But when you look at what young people think today, their lack of awareness about the Holocaust, you look at some of the interviews on these kids on college campuses, in the encampments, and what they think and what they believe, and their lack of understanding of history, their lack of understanding of context, you understand that the threats to our community, and really the threats to all communities that are vulnerable, and the threats to democracy and hate are really because of misinformation, and because of ignorance, and because of a lack of historical awareness. And this museum, what it does, this institution, is the opposite. And I love that the name of the campaign is Building Truth, because it is about understanding and opening people's hearts and opening people's minds and helping them to understand the world that it is today. So as we have been through this incredibly complicated and difficult year plus now for our community, as we have grappled, I think all of us, with this new reality that we are living in, trying to understand how did we get to this moment in time? How can we be here again? I feel as a lawmaker, as a policymaker, but particularly as a father of 3 little Jewish boys, that truth and education are some of the most powerful tools to protect our kids and to protect our community. And so I just want to be here to say thank you to all of the people that are doing that work. This boxcar is the crown jewel of what is going to be a mission of opening hearts, of opening minds, and of teaching people truth and history. And that is going to keep all of us safe. So thank you very much for your extraordinary work.
Please welcome the Unstoppable Holocaust Museum LA CEO, Beth Keane. Thank you, everyone, and thank you to Senator Allen and Assemblymember Gabriel. The truth is, we couldn't do this work alone, and we are really proud to partner with you in fighting hate and anti-Semitism, and to our partners at the city, state, and our national elected officials, as well as I see my colleague Jim Burke, the CEO of Simon Wiesenthal Center. We have the Anti-Semitism Roundtable that includes my peers at the ADL Jewish Federation, the AJC, and Stand With Us. These partnerships are critical in doing this work, and it's important to remember we can't do it alone. I actually just got back from Amsterdam. I was on a mission trip with our board member, Melinda Goldrich, that was organized by the USC Shoah Foundation. We spent the first few days in Berlin, and then we went to Amsterdam, and I returned just a couple of days ago. In Amsterdam, I was with government officials and spent a lot of time with Israelis who were living there, and I was struck by the vibrant, thriving life that existed for Israelis and Jews. And I spent time at many Israeli establishments. I ate at Israeli restaurants. I stayed in an Israeli hotel. And they live very happy there. They're thriving there. So when I saw the news last night about the attack, it just made me feel like there's this false sense of security that exists. And it's just a reminder that we need to be fastidious. We need to be on guard. And it just reinforces why we're all here today. It's so important to remember this history. There was this rich Jewish life that existed going back centuries in Berlin and in Amsterdam. And because of the Holocaust, it was wiped out. And you could just walking the streets, you feel it. You feel this rich culture that existed, and then it was just completely decimated. And it made me feel proud to be walking the streets as a Jew, but it was also a reminder that we need to learn from this history. And that's why this museum exists. That's why we're doing this expansion. And that's why we're here today with all of you to celebrate this important milestone that would not have been possible without the Black family. So thank you.
And I stand here today not only as the CEO of Holocaust Museum LA, I'm also the proud granddaughter of Holocaust survivors. It is my responsibility to carry forward their testimonies. My grandmother shared countless stories with me, but one that stands out is about her long journey stuck into a crowded boxcar in January of 1945, riding from Auschwitz to Ravensbrück, which was an all-women's concentration camp just a few hours north of Berlin. As people died around her of starvation, disease, and the frigid winter, she was only able to survive by sticking her tongue through the cracks of the boxcar to eat the snow. So this boxcar that you will see in a few minutes, this represents the truth. It allows us to honor memories and tell these important stories and act as a reminder for why it's so important to continue to stand up and speak out. Nearly 74,000 boxcars were used for Jewish deportations during the Holocaust. Of the 35 boxcars displayed worldwide, only 13 are in the United States. Each one represents the logistical complicity that made mass deportations to the camps possible. Holocaust Museum LA's boxcar exhibit will allow visitors and students to better understand the larger, intricate history of the Holocaust by focusing on the significant role the railroads played in how the Holocaust unfolded. The multi-sensory exhibition will include primary sources and survivor testimony. When visitors enter the Boxcar Pavilion, they will be introduced to the vibrant, expansive, pre-war Jewish communities that existed across Europe, Russia, and the Mediterranean basin. As they walk up the ramp, they will learn about forced labor, transport logistics, and resistance efforts, including the destruction of railways by partisans. At the top of the ramp, they will hear testimonies from survivors in our community about their experiences in the boxcars. These oral histories provide an intimate understanding of the inhumane conditions within boxcars and personalize the historical narrative, honoring the museum's founding principle of survivor-led education. When students and visitors lean into the boxcar, they will hear the names of victims recorded by survivors and descendants of survivors, deepening their understanding of the experience and memorializing the victims. Thank you to the Joyce and Stanley Black Family Foundation. The Boxcar exhibit at Holocaust Museum LA will provide a unique, profound, and multifaceted look at Holocaust history. On behalf of the whole team at Holocaust Museum LA, I want to extend our deepest gratitude to everyone here. Your commitment to our mission to commemorate those who perished, honor those who survived, educate future generations, and inspire a more dignified and humane world has led us to this very moment. So I'm going to go off script and off plan here because we do have a survivor with us today who lived through Kristallnacht, and he actually wants to share a few words about his experience at Majdanek, which is where we mentioned this boxcar was unearthed from. So I'd like to welcome Paul Kester to the stage just to say a few words.
I was not asked to speak, nor had I intended to speak here today. But when I came here, I heard that this boxcar came from Majdanek, and it brought back a memory that goes back to 1944. I was a kinder transport survivor. I lived during the war years in Sweden, and in the summer of 1944, I lived in Stockholm, and I liked to go to the movies. And thinking back, there are two films that I remembered when I came here today. They represented sort of hope and despair. One film showed American troops marching into Paris, liberation had started. We could see the end of Nazi Germany in not too distant future. The other film was taken just a few days earlier, when the Soviet Union, Soviet troops, liberated Majdanek. It was the first time that events were shown right on the screen, on the largest movie theater in the center of Stockholm. And it finally brought to me the realization what was going on, the realization that mass destruction, mass extermination had happened, and it brought a sort of an ending for uncertainty what had happened to my family. So to see now again a relic from Majdanek, and again thinking about those sunny days of 1944, I appreciate and I thank all of you who made this museum and its activities possible to keep the memory alive for when my generation is gone, and to keep the truth loud and clear, and keep on fighting intolerance, anti-Semitism, and hope for a better world. I thank you for listening, and I appreciate to have been here today.
Thank you so much, Paul. I just want to remind people that when Paul lived through Kristallnacht, there was no state of Israel to deploy planes to rescue people. So we're living in a different time. Because of the Holocaust, we know where things can lead. And our board member, Ken Kahan, shared with me this unbelievable video this morning of what's happening in Amsterdam today. You know, Israelis and Jews are out in the streets singing and standing together in solidarity. And that would never have happened either. So So I think we should feel good, because we understand the importance of standing up and speaking out. And that, you know, speaks to the work that we're doing here. And when you hear someone like Paul share his testimony, we see how that can change lives. That's how we're changing student behaviors every single day right here at Holocaust Museum LA. So I'm really excited. I get to welcome our former controller for Los Angeles, Ron Galperin, who is also a 2G and 3G, a son and grandson of Holocaust survivors. Ron is going to lead us in a prayer of gratitude. And I just wanted to share that when Ron is done with the prayer, you're going to see the boxcar, which is just to your left up on the street. It's shrink wrapped right now. So it's sitting on the flatbed truck, wrapped in the green shrink wrap. So that boxcar is going to be airlifted by a crane about, I was told, 180 feet in the air. So we're going to see it in the air and then be placed on top of the roof of the building. There's a steel structure that exists right now, and the boxcar will be placed on the structure. So we will be able to see this happen directly from your seats. But there is a better view for those who would like to get up. In the amphitheater over there, there is will be a much better view for you to see it happening. So I just wanted to share that. I also, before Ron comes up to say the prayer, there are just so many people to thank to make this day possible. And we are truly grateful for everyone. I'm looking at Hagi, our architect, Rodney and Armand, where are you? They're here from the Freeman Group. Tessa, who's the project manager for Delamo Construction, our amazing construction committee. Raise your hands. This truly takes a village to make something like this happen, and I'm sure you're all aware of that. But this day, it brings tears to my eyes. I can't even believe it's happening right now because this has been years in the making. So this is really a special time for us, and we should be celebrating this moment. And I, from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of the entire museum staff and board, thank you so much for being with all of us today to celebrate this moment. So with that, I would like to call up Ron to lead us in this prayer.
Thank you so much to Beth and to Guy and to all the incredible professionals and board members, volunteers, donors, survivors, families, and especially to the inimitable Stanley Black. I have a whole collection of these paperback pamphlets with thoughts that he would put together to share with others, and he would hand them out. And I just happened last night to reach into my shelf and pull one of these by chance, and the first page, by happenstance, that I came across had one of these aphorisms of him, and he was full of amazing aphorisms. And this one said, "To realize the value of 1 minute, ask the person who missed the train." It's really profound. Now, as the son and grandson of Holocaust survivors, it's an honor also to be here. And I remember so clearly my grandfather would tell stories from his years in Romania. And one day when he received an order in Romania to board a train the very next day with his fellow Jews, somehow, and I don't really know how, he disobeyed the order. He didn't board the train, which was later found out to be for a concentration camp where so many other members of his community and friends died, unfortunately. And somehow he managed to evade arrest. I never figured out how that was. And could he ever have imagined that we would see what we're having here today in the midst of the Shoah? It's a miracle. And I think he would be awed and so grateful for what it is that we have. And so with that, join me if you know this song of the Shehetiyana, which is a song of thanks for having come to this very special moment. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ron. I also was remiss because I did not thank our incredible staff at the museum, Lisa and everyone on the team. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for everything. They deserve a standing ovation. And I've been told we are ready for a liftoff.